General Motors and electric vehicles have had a fairly tumultuous past. In 1997 through 1999, they released the General Motors EV1, which was a small EV two-door coupe thing that absolutely nothing happened to, and it was a great success, and everybody was happy. They also took the same powertrain and stuck it in an S10 in 97 and 98 and made the S10 EV, but then GM just stopped, and there were no EVs for over 10 years. Then in 2014, GM dumped a very low-effort electric powertrain into the existing Chevy Spark hatchback to make the Chevy Spark EV. The Spark EV was made in 2014 through 2016, and the first model years had a battery made by A123 Systems, the same company that died and killed the Fisker Karma. Foreshadowing. Not really, because LG Chem stepped in and made the lithium-ion packs that powered the 2015 and 2016 model years, and everybody was happy. The Spark EV has always been kind of a weird footnote in the history of the electric car because it was good by accident. These had a relatively small 19 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack and an estimated range of about 82 miles, which isn't wonderful, but the party trick was that they made 400 foot-pounds of torque, while also being the first car to support CCS Combo 1 DC fast charging, which was an option. This particular car is mine. A buddy and I were walking around the local dealer auction and we saw it snuck off in a corner in the inoperative section and thought, interesting, haven't seen one of those in a while. And then the next day he told me that he bought it. Cool. Goodness, there sure are a lot of projects going on around here. Got a leaky fuel tank in the Ranger, so that's fun. But I am curious, what's our battery doing? This thing was at a 1 volt last night. Oh, it was able to repair it. Okay, it was at 1 volt. The smart repair charger wouldn't actually touch it, so I put the Schumacher on kill and gave it 200 amps for about 15 minutes. And then put it on the smart charger, and apparently that worked. I still ordered a new factory battery because something about these EVs, they're very, very particular about their 12 volt battery. And as you can see, this has a Kia genuine battery in it, which is not the AC Delco that it's supposed to have. So whatever, 150 bucks, got a new one coming. A lot of stuff under here, not a lot of it visible. And as you can see, very, very dusty. This thing must have lived down a dirt road. There's the inverter on top of the motor there, high voltage wires going everywhere. Let's see what we're working with here. I've got my diagnostic tablet, and we can just head on into the interior. I am really impressed with these Chevy Sparks. They managed to cram a lot of space inside of a small box. Yeah, it is absolutely filthy in here. Simply disgusting. I don't even want to think about what that is. So this thing will need a detail as soon as it's working again, but first we gotta make it work. So we got the top done. Diagnostic tablet. Never mind, no we don't. Where'd I put it? So we have a fairly typical of the era GM dashboard here, digital of course, and interestingly, no real errors other than the hood being open now that the 12 was fixed. It was giving an error that I don't remember when we unloaded it, and then 0 miles available. Because if we go to, let's see here, I think if I go to electric info, not able to charge, and then if we go to energy info, it just says no, power flow. It just says power off, and it's very nice outside. So we're going to go ahead and do a scan here with the tablet. And I'm very, very curious. Not able to charge could mean a couple of things. It means that the car has disabled charging for whatever reason. And there's two main reasons that could be. One of them is that the battery is bad, and the car won't let you charge a battery that is outside of normal operating parameters for safety's sake. The other reason is the charger itself is bad. This car took me a minute to figure out how to scan this thing. Little trick, you don't click GM EV, you click GM, and then wait till I ask you if it's a Spark EV or not.
Few errors, the most important of which is there's an error in the radio. We can't have that. But it looks like ECM, BCM, high voltage control modules, a lot of errors there. So let's see what all we're dealing with. Hybrid powertrain requested malfunction indicator illumination. Yep, that checks out. Lost communication with battery interface control modules. EV battery system low voltage, lost communication. So all of this looks like it really could be voltage regulated with the control module power circuit low voltage. A lot of this is probably just the low 12-volt battery wreaking havoc on the CAN bus. For whatever reason, EVs don't really like to run all of their normal car stuff off of the high voltage architecture through the DC to DC. It still requires a 12-volt to power up the DC to DC to then run everything off of the high voltage. And yeah, this is just a whole bunch of nonsense, really. What's wrong with the radio? The antenna isn't working. Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh golly gee. Goodness me. We can't have any of that. Okay. Pedestrian alert sound control module. This thing does make an amusing noise when you put it into gear. So I'm going to go ahead and save a report of all of this. And then I'm going to clear all of these codes, power cycle the car, and we'll see what comes back. Nope. Immediately ECM comes back. Oh, just one came back immediately on the high voltage. That's very interesting. I wonder what it is. Oh, I guess I can't look while it's clearing. Please hold. Oh, good, our radio code went away. That really had me worried there for a second. So we've gone from 24 codes down to 2 codes. Hybrid system low voltage and malfunction indicator requested. So P0 AFA00. Let's go into, let's see, DC charging control module. We do have that. This car has the incredibly desirable fast charging system. So let's go here. Module. Okay. We've got all of these communication codes again. So it's acting like the battery is dead or shut off.
To make a long story a bit less long, the key to the whole thing here was the EBCM. I believe I'm saying that right, the electronic battery control module, which is effectively a BMS or battery management system for the Chevy Spark. Architecturally, these are extremely similar to the ones in the second-gen Chevy Volts, and also like the Chevy Volts, they are extremely prone to failures. Unfortunately, unlike the Chevy Volts, Chevy did not extend the warranty on the batteries to 150,000 miles in 15 years, which means that Spark EV owners are kind of SOL on these. However, I managed to find one used from a guy in Canada. He just wanted $150 from it, and it came off of a running car with like 20,000 miles on it, so I thought I'd be good to go. So we got the car over to John Ross's so we could drop the battery and put in the new BECM. I also had to pay for GM's subscription service to be able to reprogram modules, which I hate. I hate that in order to fix a car, you have to pay for a subscription service that may or may not exist in the future. That is some anti-right to repair BS right there, but it is extremely common these days. I also had to buy a programming cable that was like $150, though it turns out I could have just used the Autel cable that John Ross has, but hey, lessons learned.
What are we doing, Jake?
Staring at a whole bunch of plastic.
We're going to attempt to not electrocute ourselves today.
It turns out underneath electric cars, there's a lot of plastic. And also, hilariously, so this is, the battery is right here above me. The axle goes through the battery, which is hilarious.
Which also means we have to remove the rear axle.
Yeah. Hey, there's no rust under here, at least.
Yeah. Huh.
Tire jerky. Okay, we want to get this done in a hurry, so we've got energy drinks. That'll help us work faster, as you'll see in a minute. Oh God, I'm dying. Yeah, the Kia battery.
Yeah, that's your problem.
Guess what? I have a factory battery. First off, what?
It's a locking ring that somebody just ripped off because they can't be bothered to remove this trim panel and remove that bracket. So I assume
That's what they.
that this is the one that the procedure's telling us about, which means we just have to remove that fucking bracket.
Oh, I wonder if this is for battery and then this is for inverter. I wonder if they're all separate.
I said F. Not bad.
Fuck, you can't say that.
Tell John Ross to get some clip removal tools. Good. I'm just gonna take this away from me real quick. Right?
The quickest way to get someone else to do something for you is to incompetently try it yourself first.
Weaponized incompetence.
Yes. I shall not be announcing my presidential bid. Jake for president. At least he's not the other guys.
Is that your campaign slogan?
Yeah.
And a pony.
Wow.
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 Wow. It has a regular radiator. Neat.
Neat.
That's cool.
This, I don't know why, but this just looks like an outboard boat motor. The shape of this cowl over the motor. It just looks like an outboard.
It does.
Oh, and then we need to go disable the battery.
Yes.
Yes.
Before we go.
I mean, at this point...
Yeah. I've had a good run.
Yeah. What do you want from me? I don't actually know where the unlock button is. Please hold. I found it.
Holy hell.
Yeah, it's not pretty, is it?
Literally the only clean spot in the vehicle is under the back seat. So,
Shocking, actually.
There we go.
Yay! I do love how much EV stuff just kind of feels like old start.
Got that bussy fuse.
I hate that. It's full of double A's.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's just,
We all know that it's just fake batteries.
it's just the Energizer bunny running around on a hamster wheel or something. And it's got
That's
a...
at least 6 hamster wheels.
Behold...
This is the greatest engine I've ever removed from a car.
Right?
I gotta say, this took us like 30 minutes. All the way
Yeah,
out.
that I do now believe the people who say they've done this in their driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to, but it's doable. Energy proboscis bottom text. So now we just... I'd like to clean this off at least a little bit, but then we've got a unholy amount of 8mm to remove. Then this cover comes off, and right there is our guy attached to. I think that's the 4th sub pack.
Yeah, and it's carbon fiber.
It is carbon fiber. That basically makes this like a
Race car.
supercar.
Talking Fibre?
Carbon fibre.
Yeah, the battery has its own monocoque.
Sure does. So something interesting about this project is
That's it.
everyone's excited about this car. You're excited to see this car work. You're excited to see this car work. I'm excited to see this car work. My girlfriend's excited to see this car work.
She wants to drive it.
She really wants to drive this car.
It's actually really cool.
So, battery out. Now battery shall come apart. And
We get back into the air conditioning. I don't know what you guys are doing.
yeah, that's a good point. Well, that is certainly a battery. bunch of 50-volt modules all strung together, flat metal bus bars, and over here is where the BMS lives, which is what we believe to be faulty. So here we have a new one.
As we say, the BMS.
The BMS.
Be careful with that.
That is installed.
Yeah, it is.
Never exposed contacts.
I was like, that
Concern.
Yeah, so, look at all that.
Yeah, that's a battery. It
is.
took all of 30 seconds to repair this thing.
Yeah, no kidding. This
And our hands didn't get dirty.
Excuse me.
It's just dust. It's not grease.
Look at. Oh yeah, that fair point. No oil, no grease.
If this thing hadn't lived on a dirt road its whole life, this would have been very pleasant, actually.
Yeah, yes.
This first generation EV stuff, like, there's a lot of... I really shouldn't be putting my hand
This
around
is
these.
very much like a 4th generation EV.
Well, I mean, this was their first full EV after the EV1.
That's true. I guess.
So it's a compliance car, but, like, there's a whole bunch of air in here. You know, nothing is laid out the way that you would find in a modern... You know, they don't do big separated standalone sub packs like this. These coolant hoses are all kind of hilarious.
I appreciate that the batteries are just a billion cells stacked and then bolted together with
Yeah,
bolts.
and then there's little little tiny coolant sandwiches in there that the coolant filters through that are very, very thin. It's actually kind of a neat system, but like...
Is it kind of like ice cream sandwiches?
Okay, so we're going to Dairy Queen, right?
I'm hungry, that's all I'm saying.
Now it's in.
Cool.
Yay! So, yeah, it still doesn't know how to talk to the battery because I have to tell it how to talk to this new battery module.
Unless it starts moving.
It makes the noise, but that's about it. Alright, we've got the VCX Nano plugged in. I've got Techline. You gotta pay for a subscription to this. John Ross did a video on right to repair, so having to pay GM for a subscription just to be able to fix this Volt probably...
Facts, dude.
Dude, I'm upset about it.
I hate that.
Is
Is this the window sticker? How much was this $40,000 car? I like how they just ripped the price off. But it was about $28,000 if I had to guess.
Yeah, and it was financed at like 19%.
Standard.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so we've got, I assume we do replace and reprogram. I've got the battery energy control module selected. We're going to do programming, and we're going to do normal programming type. Let's hit next. It's got our VIN there. Checking VIN slot status. There was an issue. There was an issue, and that issue was that no matter what I did, I could not get the car to recognize the new module. At best I could get was it to do the same thing that it did before, where it was unable to see any of the voltages of any of the packs. And I have a theory on this, because we didn't realize that GM has a specific order that you're supposed to plug everything back in on, and we were using Identifix, which I have a very, very dim view of now after this, and after trying to use it for something else, where it just straight up misses parts of the procedure. And in this case, if you hook the BMS up wrong, there's a very good chance that you could fry it. So there's a very good chance that we immediately fried the brand new EBCM. And I have tried to locate another EBCM so that we could give this another shot, but unfortunately they are scarce because it's an internal part of the battery, so usually if the battery works, it's just all sold as one piece, and nobody's willing to ruin a good battery to take the EBCM out of it. So effectively, this car is a brick, and we're more or less forced to give up on it. So we started putting it back together and took a quick break to play with a piano, I guess? So that's kind of where we are on this project. We're just forced to bunt on it, more or less. We popped the battery back out of the car and put all the plastic panels back and put the car back together, and 2 weeks after this video is posted, the car is going back to the dealer auction. If anyone wants it, get a hold of me, make an offer. I'd like to get my money back out of it if at all possible. If someone has a wrecked Spark, this would be a great way to get their Spark EV back on the road by swapping over the good battery from their Spark. I think it has to be an LG Chem car, though. I don't think you can put the LG battery in an A123 battery car. I didn't look into it too much, so figure that out before you get a hold of me. Also, I will be parting out the battery separately, so if you have a car that has a bad cell, needs a new module, get a hold of me. I'll be selling the cells at wholesale prices, so 90 bucks a kilowatt hour or thereabouts. All of this is obviously picked up in Wichita or pay for shipping, but yeah, unfortunately that's kind of where we're at with some of these compliance cars, as evidenced by how GM is still supporting the Volt and not the Spark, even though they have the exact same issue. It's pretty clear that GM just doesn't give a crap about these cars, which is a shame because they have the potential to be a really, really neat little hot hatch with far better battery management than the what is it? The Nissan Leaf. That's it, the Leaf. Gosh, those things are atrocious. No thermal management on the battery whatsoever, but hey, at least the electronics are good. Also, dropping the suspension and taking the battery out a second time took probably less than 30 minutes start to finish. It was incredibly fast once we knew what we were doing and were able to confidently attack it. It is genuinely astonishing how easy these cars are to work on. So again, shoot me an email at the address on screen within 2 weeks of this video being posted, and if you want the car. And maybe we can work something out. For everyone else, thanks for watching.